Hello everybody, welcome back to Dude Ranch DIY. My name is Jake. If you are new to the channel, please hit the like button and consider hitting the subscribe button down below. It would really help me out to continue creating content like you're about to watch. Today we are out in the wood yard. I was just splitting up some wood. I have about one cone filled up in the dump trailer over there. I was not filming because this is my hobby. I like doing this, and I started doing YouTube, just kind of fell in my lap. And sometimes I like to come out here and just not worry about moving cameras around, not worry about what I'm gonna say. So I've been out here for about 2 hours this morning, just kind of putzing around, splitting some wood. I probably split for a total of an hour. And I'm a strong believer in, you gotta do things that you love. You gotta follow your passion. And the second that this whole thing, everything that I do out here, including the filming and YouTube, starts to feel like work, that's when I want to stop doing it. So I like to take, like, you know, little mental health blocks, so to speak, if you will. I think that's the popular term that all the kids are using nowadays to skip out on work. But I'm doing a little mental health couple hours. So that's what I was doing here this morning. But while I was taking a little break from the filming, something happened. So let me show you, and today's video is going to be dedicated to hopefully fixing and improving the issue that I stumbled upon. And no, it's not related to the conveyor over here. So guys, if you've been following along, you know that I have this RuggedMade RS737 log splitter. It's pretty heavily modified with auto cycle over there. We have a dump valve down here. We have a hydraulic wedge lift over here. I've done several modifications to it, you know, made this thing fold so that it doesn't crush anybody's toes. And when we got this conveyor, if you've been following along with that whole saga, we modified the conveyor and the catch tray here to basically kind of funnel and push all of the wood, since it is a push-through style splitter, and push it through onto the conveyor. Now this has been a whole process of modifying and, you know, figuring out what types of modifications we needed to do, and one of them were these, you know, wings here on the catch tray table. Now you'll see that we have an issue. This one has totally broken off, and this one is pretty severely cracked. And that's because every now and then, and it's no fault to my buddy Chris who helped us do these modifications. That's what we came up with. That was the whole plan. But every now and then, a piece will get pushed through here and it'll kind of pop open and go totally sideways. And it just so happens that this distance here, well, when this is actually where it's supposed to be, is about 16 inches, give or take. So pieces get jammed in, and if they're, you know, 17 inches or, you know, whatever, a little bit longer, it makes it even worse. And they get jammed in here and push and bend these flaps outwards. So what we need to do, and what I'm thinking is, and I've let it get to this point because I wanted to make sure that whatever modifications I do are going to be appropriate for what I need here. So what I'm thinking is, we're gonna cut this right about here, which would give us plenty of distance from the center of the wedge to this point out here. And we're gonna cut it, and we're basically gonna taper it down to something like that. And then my plan is to re-weld and take that piece and re-weld it out at an angle a little bit, and then re-weld this support bracket, you know, piece back onto the catch tray table, and maybe even add another support piece or something like in here. And I'd like to do that on both sides, and I think that that would help the whole situation here, because this whole flap is very helpful in pushing all the pieces through. It's just that every now and then, you know, like I said, pieces get caught up on it, and that's what we end up having. So that's what we're gonna get doing. Let's get started. Now you guys might be wondering, Jake, how are you going to do this out here in the wood yard? You normally, you know, bring the conveyor and the log splitter and stuff up to the garage when you're trying to do stuff like this. Well guys, if you have been following along, you saw a couple videos back, I got this Vanpowers Super Power Pro 1500 portable power station. Now this thing is pretty amazing. It has a rating of up to 1500 watts, for steady use, with a surge power, I believe somewhere in the neighborhood of 3000 watts. It has 6 plugs over there, a bunch of features. If you want to know more about this thing, go back and watch the video. I'll put it up above. And here I have a Hobart welder. It just plugs into a regular 110 volt outlet, like right there. You guys might remember that I had a Lincoln electric welder the past couple times I've been welding. This is actually my buddy's welder, and it's been working out really well for me. I think there's something wrong with the Lincoln electric, like internally with the electronics inside there, but this thing has been working great, so that's what we're going to be using today. I am by no means a welder, but I think I have a little welding rig set up pretty good here in the big tool rack. So got all the tools that I think we'll need. Let's get going. What did I just do? Okay guys, I just made a real rookie mistake and jumped into this with both feet and wasn't thinking. I meant to start my cut here and taper it downwards, but instead I just cut off this whole flap. So, that, not great. That really kind of screws things up, you could say. Okay. Yeah, that was not the plan. Not the plan. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to weld this back on and then make the proper cut coming downwards like this, and then I'll be able to taper it out, kind of. Because the goal is to have it out here kind of like this. Okay guys, after thinking about it a little bit, I think the best way is for me to just try and weld this back together and start over and make the right cut instead of the wrong cut. Again, never said I'm a professional, and I keep in most of my mistakes in all these videos, so you're getting the real deal here. I really said one thing and then about 45 seconds later did the complete opposite, and really messed up. So we're gonna try and fix it. Hopefully it's not too bad, but yeah, here we go. All right guys, let's see how we can do here with the Vanpowers, welding this thing back together. Well, it welds. That's for sure. We were able to just do a weld there, so that's pretty cool. Just shut the machine off. Now let's let's see how this Vanpowers is doing. We are at 91%. We started out at 99%. So that's pretty cool that this thing is able to power a welder. That's really cool, actually. Well guys, it's not perfect, but I just hit it on the inside and out. Hopefully that will hold it, and now we can make the cut that we actually needed to make. Okay guys, so I'm looking at this and I'm starting to think that for me to cut it from here down to here and angle it out and kind of taper it is gonna, just this section and leaving this part upright is going to be kind of tough, probably over my capabilities of fabrication and math and figuring things out. So what I'm now thinking is maybe I'll just cut the welds right here on this support, since this one's already free, and just taper the whole thing outward. That way it's kind of not just straight up and down, still acts as a funnel for the wood, but gives more room and, you know, less of just a blatant wall here for the wood to hit up against. I'm thinking that's probably going to be the easier route here, and maybe I'll add in another support like that. I have all of this metal over here from an old catch tray that I broke that I can cut some pieces out of and fab something up. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do here. All right, so I got this cut off, and I'm thinking that I can basically just mimic the angle of the hopper on the conveyor. Now I know you guys can't like see that, but I think this would actually work out pretty well. And then I can weld in some supports on the bottom here. So I think that's the route I'm gonna take. No, I don't. I actually have no idea what I'm doing. But, you know, fake it till you make it.
I figured that. I see you like, where should I start? And I'm like, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Trying to make it work. How you doing?
Good, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
I just saw you with your ATVs. I'm like,
oh, I was coming back? Something, landscaper,
yeah,
carpenter.
Now his friend has a landscaping company, you know, so he did some carpenter for him. Now he's trying to pay back, you know, all that work.
Oh, okay.
So he's with the excavator there, trying to fix the walls and landscaping. You know,
nice.
Fix the lawn, shit like that.
Uh-huh.
So.
Yeah, he ran away and went to his house one day.
Yeah, he told me that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he told me that. I was talking with him about you.
Oh.
Like, I know the guy across the street, and he's like, really? His dog came over, you know, he was
yeah,
looking for
yeah.
a dog. And my wife came out, but she didn't, you know.
That's funny.
She didn't speak. So. And he was like, you know, I'm trying to, that guy is always moving.
Okay guys, so here's what we got so far. That side I'm calling complete. I mean, there's a big hole in it right there, but I don't have any, you know, I don't think I'll be able to fill that gap with like material. I'm not that good of a welder. Another one over there, but I mean, this thing is on there, it's shaking the whole machine. Hopefully that angle helps alleviate the stresses of the pieces coming out. Basically just got this next side all prepped. So we're gonna do the same thing over here. Let's check in on the Vanpowers, see what we're at. So we are at, I don't know if you can see that, but 75%. And I have been doing all the welding and grinding and stuff aside from the cutting. but all the grinding of the paint and everything with the plug-in grinder. So that's pretty impressive. I'm super impressed that this thing is, you know, has that much power where we've only used up a quarter of it. So we're gonna go ahead, turn this puppy back on. As you can see, it's drawing about 50 watts there. So let's keep going. Well, all right, guys, we just finished up, and as you can see here, the Vanpowers is at 58%. So we didn't even use 50% of the battery for this project. Now, let me show you what we got done here. They're not, again, not the prettiest welds. I am by no means a professional welder, but I am learning. We got this thing on there. I might actually revisit this weld. It doesn't look like there was much penetration there, but over here you can see again there's like a gap there that's kind of big to fill, but you know, it's on there. There's spatter in certain spots. I did better than others. I welded on both the inside and the outside of this thing, so hopefully, I mean, this will do the trick and it won't get busted off again because of the added angle. There's some alarms, sirens going off. Gus has been over here. He was just howling, but it's usually he just howls at the ambulance alarm. So anyway, this, I don't know. We'll see how it works. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit and slap some paint on it, and then we'll probably fire everything up and see how it performs. But I'm hoping that this does the trick. I really am. I kind of tried to mimic, you know, the angle almost of the conveyor. That way it could line up pretty well. So we'll get things cleaned up and a trial test here. Well, all right, guys, I think I would call that a success. This newly angled extension flaps, or whatever you want to call it, to the sorting tray seemed to do the trick. I honestly feel like not only were the pieces not getting caught up on the edges there in between the wedge and the extensions, but I honestly feel like it was almost funneling the wood into the conveyor better than when they were vertical. I feel like when they were vertical, pieces seemed for some reason to kind of get bunched up, but here with it being opened up at a wider angle, the pieces almost have like more room to move around, and the conveyor was able to, or the splitter was able to just push the pieces through a lot easier. I'll show you what we got in the trailer here. We got a nice full front. It's a little cockeye. I backed the trailer in a little bit too far to the left here. Got to be drinking a Coors Banquet. It's a nice, beautiful Sunday. But yeah, a lot of nice wood in there, a lot of bundle grade wood because a lot of this stuff was barkless. I'm actually not going to finish splitting up this pile because the next stuff that we get into is going to be all these logs here that we've been waiting to get to for a while, and we're going to have to cut and split simultaneously. So by saving this little bit of stockpile, it kind of relieves some of the initial burden on Chris when he's cutting. Because, you know, I won't be splitting the rounds that he's cutting immediately, you know, like in this area here. It will have like a little bit of a stockpile, little buffer zone to let him, you know, kind of catch up and build up. With the 500i, it's not in the big tool rack right now, but with the 500i, he's easily able to cut faster than I'm able to split. It's just that first like 20 minutes or so, if we don't have any rounds cut up, he's kind of scrambling to pull them off the pile with the tractor, set them down, mark them, cut them. So it's easier to just leave, you know, 30 or so rounds as a little bit of a stockpile, and it makes his life a little bit easier. Plus, it is a gorgeous day. I think I'm going to fire up my pretty heavily modified Honda Ruckus scooter and head on over to Chris's and see what he's up to. But I'm gonna take that for a little ride, the first ride of this spring. I have a lot of fun on that thing. So I'm gonna wrap things up here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know some of you had suggested these modifications. It took me a while to get to it, but like I said, I was kind of waiting for it to just completely break to the point where I had to fix it. That way I could kind of figure out what I was doing. And again, you saw right off the bat, I made a big mistake by cutting that, extension flap just in half. I wasn't really thinking. That's the beauty of Dude Ranch DIY. Editing is amazing. You can make a lot of your mistakes disappear with the powers of editing, but that doesn't happen here on Dude Ranch DIY. So I hope you guys appreciate that I keep in all my mistakes, because again, I'm doing it myself, but half the time I have no idea what I'm doing. So if you're new to the channel, like I said in the beginning, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Give this video a big thumbs up. If you got any questions, comments, or feedback, throw it down in that comment section below. But for now, I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time. Woo!